अस्सलाम वालेकुम नाज़रीन, बदर मुनीर चौधरी BMC लाइव के साथ हाज़िर खिदमत है। अक्सर कहीं बैठें तो कोई ना कोई केस जो है वो डिस्कस कर रहे होते हैं और दोस्त जो हैं वो मशवरा देते हैं, कानूनी मशवरा देते हैं, लेकिन बेस्ट ये है कि आप किसी ऐसे प्रोफेशनल ऑफिस में जाएं, किसी बैरिस्टर से, सॉलिसिटर से मिलें जो आपका जो मसला है कानूनी वो उसका सही तौर पर सलूशन ढूंढे, उसका हल ढूंढे और आपको सही ट्रैक पर लेकर जाए। मैंने अक्सर देखे हैं काफ़ी विक्टिम हमें मिलते हैं, फ़ोन कॉल आती हैं, ईमेल्स आती हैं हमें कि उनके साथ लाखों डॉलर का फ्रॉड हो गया, अब वो क्या करें। और फिर आगे जाकर जो उनको मशवरा देने वाले लोग हैं अनप्रोफेशनल, वो उनको मज़ीद ऐसी दलदल में धकेल देते हैं जिनसे निकलना जो है वो मुश्किल हो जाता है। आज मैंने शहर में नौजवान और कामयाब वकील बैरिस्टर ज़ोहैब रहमान से दरख्वास्त की है कि वो तशरीफ़ लाएँ। काफ़ी सवालात हैं हमारे नाज़रीन के, मैं उनके सामने रखूँगा। अस्सलाम वालेकुम बैरिस्टर ज़ोहैब साहब।
वालेकुम अस्सलाम, थैंक यू फॉर हैविंग मी ऑन योर शो।
बहुत शुक्रिया, बहुत शुक्रिया। मुझे पता है आप बहुत बिजी हैं, कोर्ट्स में जाना और लोगों के साथ मीटिंग करना, लेकिन ये कम्युनिटी एजुकेशन है, लोगों के सवालात होते हैं तो एक पे बैक है कम्युनिटी को, ये भी ज़रूरी है। अच्छा, पहला ही सवाल ये है कि जहाँ पे हम बैठते हैं अक्सर लोग मशवरा दे रहे होते हैं तो क्या प्रोफेशनल जो ओपिनियन के लिए किसी वाकई प्रोफेशनल के पास जाना ज़रूरी है या खुद ही कई बार आप कोर्ट में खुद भी केस फाइल कर सकते हैं?
It's a good question, and I think if you want to just start off the conversation and ask whether we need professional consultancy with making certain decisions, or if we can proceed certain manners within our own purview. It's important that depending on the situation and the gravity of the case itself, why you would need professional services to retain and obviously, present your case to the best ability. Now, if it's a real estate matter, then of course you're going to need a real estate lawyer to have that conducted. But smaller issues are not as complex. Let's say a landlord and tenancy, concern. You can take that by yourself, register it, file it, go to the hearing yourself and get a determination. Something similar with a small claims court. I know a lot of my clients normally come to me after they have completed the case and just ask what they can do moving forward because they have represented themselves in a small claims matter. But normally when you start getting into complicated matters, that's where you want to have a consultant or a professional by your side. I think that's what's very important.
सोशल मीडिया पे ऐसे कई लोग मौजूद हैं जो इमिग्रेशन के हवाले से कि जी अगर आपने वीज़ा लगवाना है या कोई और वर्क परमिट चाहिए, कुछ ऐसे हैं जो वो कहते हैं कि जी आप इनबॉक्स करें। तो कई बार ऐसे पता चलता है उनके पास लाइसेंस नहीं है और जब विक्टिम बनते हैं लोग पैसे दे देते हैं, फिर मीडिया से रजू करते हैं कि जी हमने तो पैसे दे दिए, तो उनका नाम जो है वो तो हुकूमत कनाडा की वेबसाइट पे नहीं है, तो वो कहाँ पे फिर शिकायत दर्ज करवाएं?
Always do your homework or look into whether that person is authorized to provide the services that you are looking for. In your situation, when you have asked about immigration services, you want to look up their name, you want to search them whether they are registered with the Law Society or whether they are on the consultancy list as well. If they are not, I would inquire further and make sure that I am being obviously retained by someone who's authorized to perform those services. So there are ways to verify, but in scenarios where, let's say you went to someone and you have maybe hired them for some services and you find out that they are not authorized, you can report them or send a complaint to the immigration department, or even maybe reach out to the local police office and say, hey, I think I may be a victim of crime or a fraud. Can you look into this and see if there's something you guys can help me out with?
सही। अच्छा, कई ऐसे हैं जो कम्युनिटी में लोगों को नॉलेज है कि इन्वेस्टमेंट फ्रॉड बहुत ज़्यादा है, बड़े अट्रैक्टिव ऑफिस हैं, बड़े अट्रैक्टिव स्लोगन हैं, बड़ी अट्रैक्टिव जो है वो प्रॉफिट جو ہے وہ آفر کرتے ہیں, اس کے بعد کوئی 2-4-6 مہینے کے بعد جو ہے وہ غائب ہو جاتے ہیں, اور وہ پھر وکٹم ہیں. ساری جمع پونجی 1 لاکھ سے $1 ملین تک کے کیسز ہم نے سنے ہیں کہ ایک سینئر ہیں وہ انہیں کو $4-5 لاکھ ضائع کر دیا. اب وہ سینئر ہیں, نہ کسی لائر سے مل سکتے ہیں, وہ ویسے ہی رو رہے ہیں, اپنی جو فریاد کر رہے ہیں کہ جی میری کوئی مدد کریں. تو کیسے ہیلپ آؤٹ کیسے کیا جا سکتا ہے جو فراڈ کے وکٹم ہیں؟
Unfortunately, it's such a precarious situation to be in. You normally want to look at who the person is that you are dealing with, whether this is a credible person by his demeanor or his body language or whatever. You want to identify these cues, at the outset. You don't want to wait too long, or it could have possible ramifications that may not turn out to be very good for you. Now, in a situation, let's say money is involved and you fall for someone who is offering or soliciting something or services where you think there's a personal gain or a financial benefit out of, and it doesn't materialize. In those scenarios, you can either civilly sue them. Normally it does turn out to be a civil case because it's money involved, but if there's an element of fraud, that could be transpired into criminal offense or a criminal charge itself. That's when police can get involved, and the other person, I guess, the person who was in the commission of the offense, he could potentially face some kind of a criminal proceeding against him as well.
لیکن کئی پولیس کے پاس جائیں تو وہ کہتے ہیں جی وہ یہ فراڈ کا کیس ہے, $1 لاکھ یا 2 لاکھ, کتنی بھی اماؤنٹ ہے, تو آپ جو ہے وہ سول کیس فائل کریں. لیکن کئی بار ایسا ہوتا ہے کہ جو وہ زیادہ لوگ وکٹم ہیں, 8, 10, 15, 20 وکٹم ہیں, پھر اینٹی فراڈ جو ہے وہ پولیس ڈپارٹمنٹ جو ہے وہاں پہ کرمنل بنتا ہے, کرمنل کا بنتا ہے یہ سارا کیس.
I'll just maybe speak in Urdu as well, so our audience can also understand. جب criminal offense یا criminal element اس time involved ہوگا جب آپ fraud identify کر سکتے ہیں. So if the person has misrepresented or if there is some kind of deliberation in the deceit where they're going to be asking for money and you know their intention was never to return that money, or it's falsified. Statement agar falsified ہوگی اس وقت پھر یہ criminal offense بن سکتا ہے. You have 2 different types of criminal offenses. One is under 5,000 and fraud over 5,000 as well. So depending on what kind of depending on the monetary circumstances, you could be facing an indictable offense or a summary offense itself. So yes, I mean, people can fall for these kind of traps, and there could be a larger group involved. I think it only can make the case stronger if you have multiple victims or a larger group making the complaint or lodging a complaint against a specific individual about what he has done. That could solidify your case itself, I think. Yes.
صحیح. اچھا, پولیس پاورز کتنی ہیں؟ کئی بار ایسا ہے پروفائلنگ جس کو ہم بولتے ہیں, اب ٹورانٹو میں تو کم ہے, لیکن کئی بار پروفائلنگ بیس پہ پولیس پہ ایلیگیشن لگے ہیں. ایک فرض کریں ٹریفک کی وائلیشن ہو گئی ہے, وہ کس حد تک مانگ سکتا ہے پولیس والا آئیڈینٹی؟ صرف لائسنس مانگ سکتا ہے یا اس کے علاوہ اور کویشچن بھی کر سکتا ہے؟ اور جو ڈرائیور ہے وہ کب فیل کرے گا کہ یار یہ اب ذرا اوور ہو گیا, میں اب اس کو ریفیوز کر سکتا ہوں یا نہیں؟ وہ کہے گا جی میں ریفیوز کرتا ہوں, اور باتیں کریں, آپ میرا مجھے ٹکٹ دیں اور دیٹس اٹ, اور زیادہ آپ گفتگو جو ہے نہ کریں. کہاں پہ شک جو ہے وہ اس میں انٹرفیئر ہو جائے گا؟
I think police have the powers and the right to arrest and ask for identification, okay? In certain circumstances, it may be considered unconstitutional, okay? So let's say you're walking on the road and police stops you and unlawfully asks for your ID and starts asking you questions. Well, that's unacceptable. Police cannot infringe your charter rights by approaching you and asking for ID for without cause or without reason. Now, let's say if you are driving and you get pulled over by the police, in those circumstances, they can verify you and ask you for your identification, and you cannot deny it at that point. You would have to provide your ID. The only situation which you could question is why the police pulled you over in the first place, okay? So if it's a unlawful, let's say, arrest or even a detention where they have stopped your car without providing reasons for your infringement or where you have broken the law, I think that's where you can question about the intention behind being pulled over. But normally they could ID you on a highway traffic act offense, yes.
صحیح. اگر کسی کو اریسٹ کر لیا,
yes,
وہ چلا گیا ادھر اس کسٹڈی میں, اس کے بعد اس کے پاس بیل کے رائٹس کتنے ہیں؟ کیا اس کو الاؤ کرتی ہے پولیس کہ اپنے لائر سے جو ہے وہ آپ فون کر لیں؟
Absolutely. I think the first thing the police must ask you is whether you want to speak to a lawyer and consult with counsel. You want to exercise that right, because if you make a statement before speaking with your lawyer, that can be obviously admitted in court and used against you, depending on the scenario. But typically you want to reach out to a lawyer first, tell them, hey, this is the situation, what should I do? And the lawyer will advise you what steps you need to take next.
اچھا, بیل کے جو رائٹس آپ بتا رہے ہیں تو اس میں اور ریکوائرمنٹس کیا ہیں, اور پھر آپ سے جب رابطہ کیا جائے تو آپ کتنا ہیلپ آؤٹ کر سکتے ہیں وکٹم کو؟
That's the initial stage of the criminal offense itself, the bail step. If you are arrested and you are being held for bail, you want to either consult a lawyer or let's see if a duty counsel is available to help you out as well. But within 24 hours, you are required to appear for a bail hearing, all right? Now, the three conditions that you have to fulfill for a bail hearing is whether you will be a risk of flight, meaning you're not going to escape the jurisdiction, whether you are going to be a threat to the safety to the public at large. If that's not a concern, you can satisfy that. And the third one would be whether the administration of justice could be brought into disrepute or the public confidence is not undermined. If you can satisfy those conditions, you can qualify for a bail. You would need a surety in place as well. The first thing you want to do is tell your lawyer who your surety is going to be, so your lawyer can arrange that person, that individual to appear. And if there's going to be questioning being asked against the surety, you can assist with that as well, or you can represent the client and the family at that hearing itself. Now, if you do not have a surety, that's where it can be very difficult for you to maybe gain bail, depending on the offense and whether you have a criminal history in the justice system. Sometimes we have, you could say, public bodies that can assist with the bail itself. They can be responsible for acting as a surety for you. It's called the John Howard Society. They can help out with the bail in case if you cannot meet your surety fulfillments.
صحیح. آٹو تھیفٹ از انکریزنگ ڈے بائی ڈے, اسپیشلی ان جی ٹی اے. تو جو وکٹم ہے اس کے پاس کیا رائٹس ہیں؟ پولیس سنتی نہیں, اس کو کال کریں وہ کہتے ہیں کہ بس ٹھیک ہے آ جائے گی, آپ انشورنس کلیم کریں. بلکہ ایک بار تو کسی نے کہا کہ جی یہ گاڑی میری جو ہے وہ یہ سامنے ہی یہ وہ کوئی اور چلا رہا ہے, تو پولیس والے نے کہا کہ رہنے دیں, آپ اپنا کام کریں. اور وہ بہت زیادہ اس کو کرائم سمجھتی نہیں ہے, پولیس سمجھتی ہے, کرتی ہے, لیکن اس وقت وکٹم کو کوئی سیٹسفیکشن نہیں ہوتی.
It's getting out of control. I mean, if you look at the auto theft right now in the province, is just increasing in numbers. And you can say there are large organizations involved behind this entire, you can say situation. It's not on a small scale at the moment. It's become quite large, and this is being obviously flowed around the globe right now because of the amount of exotic vehicles that we have in our, province itself. With respect to what can be done about it, it's an offense. You steal something that doesn't belong to you, that's a crime right there. But when it becomes so apparent, what can the legal or the law enforcement really do? Because it's just so prevalent at this moment, and we don't have the proper resources and the tools to overcome these circumstances right now. So I think what we need to do is just increase the budget for the police administration side of things, right? You may want to improve the law enforcement and increase their, the tools that they have at hand. That may obviously prevent the crime to a certain degree, but if you are talking about getting rid of it entirely, it's very difficult, only because you may not be prepared for what happens when you're on the road, right? So it's just a very tough situation to be in the province right now. Yeah.
صحیح. اچھا, ڈومیسٹک وائلنس, فیمیل زیادہ وکٹم جو ہے وہ پولیس تک پہنچتی ہیں, کیا میل وکٹم بھی ہوتے ہیں؟ اور اگر گھر میں کہیں اس طرح کا وائلنس ہو جائے اور وہ پولیس چارج کر لے میل کو, تو اس کے کیا رائٹس؟
Yes, that could be very well be the situation where the male is the victim and he has to get the law enforcement involved in order to have his spouse arrested or at least prevented from committing further offense. Yes, male, like I think I had a situation where my client was reporting the case to me and telling me that he was being victimized, and I told him the best thing to do would be to approach the police in those circumstances. But it could happen, and I've seen it before me as well. So I think, yes, the situation could be the case where the male is obviously being targeted or victimized in an offense. Yes, that's possible.
تو بیل ملنا آسان ہے؟
Bail?
Easy?
Sometimes they may not even have a bail hearing for an offense like this. They could just have an undertaking or a promise to appear on a certain specific date afterwards. But if the offense itself is quite grave in nature, or if the police determines that this is something that would require a bail, they could have you up for bail that very day or within 24 hours.
کئی ایسے کیسز ہیں جس میں رابری ہو رہی ہے, اگر گھر والا جو ہے وہ اس کو سیلف ڈیفینس میں کوئی ہرٹ کر دیں کسی ایکیوزڈ کو یا کلپریٹ کو, وہ پولیس والے اسی کو پکڑ لیتے ہیں, گھر والوں کو.
Your defense or your reaction should be proportionate, okay? So it has to be very limited. So if someone comes, I'll just give an example of someone is to approach you on the street or on the road and they're about to attack you, you can only return the force as much that is needed. You cannot act excessively and deliberately injure that person further unless your life is endangered at that point. Sure, you can use the necessary force, but normally you want to keep it very limited with these encounters and only use the force that would be required and necessary in these situations. Now, if you are to protect your home and someone is coming attacking you, I think we had a case recently in the GTA where the individual came into the house, they were attacked by the owner or the occupant, and the occupant was subsequently charged as well because he attacked the person that was coming into the house itself. It just depends on the situation itself and how much force you have used. So if you're trying to protect your family or yourself from further injury being incurred, then you can use that necessary force. But normally you want to just limit them to their actions and then immediately call the police if anything. And if the situation is going to get out of hand where it's not in control, then you can keep him detained until police does arrive. But if weapons are involved, it becomes very difficult to determine that situation, as you can imagine, right? Where you are trying to save your life, you are at home, someone comes with a weapon, starts attacking you or demands something, and your life is endangered. You can be, the person to decide objectively what needs to be done to safeguard your house and family.
صحیح. ایک ہماری کمیونٹی میں ایک دوست تھے جن کی ڈیتھ ہو گئی اور ان کی ول نہیں تھی, تو ان کی مسز اور بچے جو ہیں کافی پرابلم میں رہے. ول کتنا ضروری لکھنا؟
It's one of the most important instruments that you want to prepare during your lifetime. I've had so many clients who need to have their will prepared at a later stage of their life, but I think if you want to get something done even at an earlier stage, very important. And I'll just say a few things in our language as well so people can understand. Will ki importance bahut zyada hai, especially in mulkon mein, because hum immigrants aate hain yahan pe, aur ہم لوگ ابھی فرسٹ جنریشن کے دور میں گزر رہے ہیں. We need to know, we need to identify our properties because اب ہم نے اپنی لائف اسٹائل یہاں پہ اڈاپٹ کر لیا. We are going to be accustomed to the lifestyle here. We have properties here. We have vested interest in these countries. So you want to prepare a will, even if it's something simple, just know what your assets are and who you're going to be gifting your properties to eventually. We have situations where people do not have will. Back to your question, what do? You apply to the court, but that's a very expensive process then, right? It becomes very lengthy. People can get involved and interfere with that estate proceeding. You may want to prevent that by writing a simple will, but if it goes up in court and if you are going to go through the conventional steps, it can be, like I said, lengthy and costly as well. And certain people, certain clients do not have that kind of money. They think it's a simple process, but it can save you a lot of money to have a simple document prepared rather than spending thousands and thousands of dollars in court trying to, win a battle or get a judgment in your favor.
آپ کی فی جو ہے ول کے لیے ریزنیبل ہے کیونکہ لوگ جو ہے نا ہیزیٹیٹ کرتے ہیں کہ یار یہ بیرسٹر ہیں اور یہ ہم ان کے آفس میں جائیں گے تو فیس جو ہے بڑی انریزنیبل ہو سکتی ہے. تو آپ کمیونٹی کے لیے ہیلپ فل ہیں, کچھ بتانا چاہیں آپ؟
Yeah, it's a quite attractive, package that we offer. Everyone except for you will get a favorable deal, but normally no. Yeah, we have a tremendous package that we can offer, and we can do individual documents or just compile them together. Like I said, will and power of attorney, we can do a certain combination of the two where we can offer very good and reasonable service.
تو آپ کا فون نمبر تو لوگ نوٹ کر رہے ہیں کہ کوئی بھی ایشو ہو تو آپ سے رابطہ کیا جا سکتا ہے. اچھا سر, ٹیننٹ اینڈ لینڈ لارڈ, یہ بہت ایک عجیب سا ایک ایسا ایشو ہے. ہر تیسرا چوتھا پانچواں جو ہے وہ کمیونٹی کا شخص یا وہ ٹیننٹ پرابلم میں ہے یا لینڈ لارڈ پرابلم میں ہے, تو یہ بتائیے گا.
It's like I said, it's become one of those situations where it's so prevalent at the moment where people are just renting out their units, basement or just additional properties that they have, and they may collect a few months of rent and then after that tenant starts falling behind. It's a nightmare situation to be in, and to rectify that you have to go through the proper proceedings. You have to go through the landlord and tribunal board to settle your case and convince the decision maker why the tenant should be out and also why he should be paying or pay for the amounts that are in arrears. A lot of our community members do not know the situation or the proceedings or the steps behind it. That's where we can help. We can obviously navigate that for you and kind of give you the guidelines. But it does take some time. It's not an overnight exercise. It can take a few months before you have your hearing, and then you can obviously collect all of the amounts that they have not paid. So that is there, but it's just taking so long. We have a lot of clients where they have the issue of they want to get someone out, but we have to wait for the hearing, and that just takes so long where they're just behind with their other payments. So yeah, it can be a difficult position to be in again.
تھینک یو سو مچ بیرسٹر زہیب رحمان. کوشش کریں گے آپ کو وقتاً فوقتاً ہم بلاتے رہیں اور لوگوں کے سوالات لیں. لاسٹ میں پوچھنا چاہوں گا, ہاؤ مینی لینگویجز ڈو یو اسپیک؟
Well, I do speak 3 languages at the moment. We speak English, Urdu, and the other language that I do speak is Pashto as well.
Pashto, یہ زبردست ہے Pashto.
Yeah, so I've had a client, we've had clients in fact in the past where they could not even understand English or Urdu. So I mean that was very useful in those circumstances where I could speak a language where they could obviously communicate with me. So yeah, and in these kind of metropolitan cities, it's very important that we have a diversified range of languages that we can offer.
اور آپ کا آفس ہے بڑا ہی زبردست اسٹیٹ آف دا آرٹ رجوے پلازا مساگا میں, تو اس میں آپ جو اگر آپ سے کوئی مشورہ چاہیے, ایڈوائس چاہیے, تو آپ ملتے ہیں لوگوں سے؟
Certainly, yes. Our office is open for public consultancy if they want to come in and have our services retained. We certainly can welcome you with that. We have just moved into, like you said, the Ridgeway Plaza in Mississauga, and it's been a great turnaround so far. Thank you.
صحیح ہے, اور ہیزیٹیٹ نہ کریں, فی چارجز یہ وہ کم از کم ملے تو صحیح نا.
We speak your language, and if there are any concerns you want to reach out to us, okay, confidentiality is going to be maintained. We want to respect the integrity of the case, and we want to make sure you feel open about your case.
تھینک یو سو مچ, بہت شکریہ. ناظرین, میرے ساتھ ہے بیرسٹر زہیب رحمان. اگر کوئی کویشچن ہے, آپ کا لیگل ایڈوائس لینا چاہ رہے ہیں, ایک تو کویشچن جو ہے ان جنرل وہ ہم ان سے آنسر لے لیں گے, کسی پروگرام میں بلا لیں گے. info@canada1.tv ہمارا یہ ای میل ایڈریس ہے. آپ اپنا کویشچن جو ہے وہ ہمیں بھیجیے گا, ہم ان سے جواب حاصل کریں گے. انشاءاللہ اگلے پروگرام میں نئے مہمان نئی گفتگو کے ساتھ حاضر ہوں گا, اور کوشش کریں گے بیرسٹر زہیب رحمان صاحب سے ہم لیگل ایڈوائس, لیگل اوپینین جو ہے وہ ویکلی بیس پہ حاصل کیا کریں. اللہ حافظ.